Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. I'm your host, Eric Obrempt. Another episode coming to you today from IRE 2025 here in San Antonio, Texas. Another really cool episode where I get to interview somebody and get to know somebody that I have not really known before. I think we've probably both watched each other from afar a little bit, but don't really quote unquote know each other, that well. And these are really good opportunities selfishly for me to get to know other humans, and then you get to as well. So fucking good for you. But I want to introduce my guest, and he can tell you a little bit about himself, and then I'm going to try and get him to tell some kind of inappropriate stories that he's maybe never told before. We'll see if that happens. Hey everybody, I'm Eric Obrempt, and you're listening to Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. We talk about real shit, what's on our minds, and don't give a fuck if it makes you feel a little uncomfortable. So sit back, strap in, and get ready for some real shit. If you're serious about getting your time back and scaling your business, then SMA Support Services is your secret weapon. I use SMA for all of our support and admin tasks. Everything from back office management, day-to-day admin, even a call center. Their team frees up my staff to stay focused on high-level, revenue-generating activities. And that, let me tell you, is a fucking game changer. SMA isn't just support. They're a partner that keeps our operations running smooth and efficiently. So if you want to focus on growing your business and leave the support work to the pros, hit up SMA Support Services. Martin Pettigrew, right? I said it right. Martin Pettigrew, founder of Monarch Roofing out of
Myrtle Beach.
Yes. That's a good place to do roofing.
Yeah, we do get some if you intend to say about the storms, but yeah, we have some good weather. We have Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Hilton Head, South Carolina, and Wilmington, North Carolina.
Good golfing in Hilton Head, right?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Harbortown.
Golf?
Yeah, a little bit.
I
got a chance to play Harbortown about 6 years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, you gotta, I know you like golf, so it's definitely a place that you lose a few balls, but anyways,
sure.
It's
So where are you from originally? What's the accent?
French Canadian from Canada. Yeah,
oh,
French
okay.
part of Canada, Quebec City, close to.
Okay.
About 3 hours.
So when did you come down here?
It was 1999.
Okay.
I was really good at golf. I left home. I can tell you a little bit about this. It's a great question. I left home when I was 13 years old to go play golf. I qualified somehow.
Oh, so you were you're a golfer.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay, you're a golfer.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not one of those assholes that I go play top golf. I'm like, that's not fucking golf, asshole. Okay.
Yeah, well, I did play a lot more before.
Sure.
I'll say don't put your $5 on me, but I'll definitely play as hard as I can.
Good.
Well, yeah, I left home when I was 13. I qualified for the school, and then it was great, Eric, man. I wish there was more school like this. Maybe you tell me you've been to school like this before, but I never really heard that. But we had school from 7:30 in the morning to 11:30, and everybody went to play their sports. So it was hockey, kayak, or anything that you were doing, figure skating, but I was doing the golf. So we hit golf.
And where was this at?
In Canada.
Oh.
In Trois-Rivières, it's called, but it's between Quebec and Montreal.
Huh.
And it was awesome. We spent 3 weeks in Myrtle Beach every year and a week in Florida to keep playing golf kind of year round. There's a lot of snow up there. But then I got a scholarship to play golf in Pennsylvania, and was really excited, but I didn't know English. So
you didn't?
No, I was
really
totally French. My parents don't speak English. So
wow.
Yes. So I had to do an exchange student. So I ended up being in Pennsylvania, and so some of the stories, when you could go, it was the Rotary Club. I remember when they did the panel, they interview kids to go, if you want to qualify or not. And when they got to me to say where you want to go, they're asking all the kids, where do you want to go? The first kids, because I want to go to Germany. They're like, I want to go to Japan. To get to me, I want to go to Florida. Martin, that's not even a country. That's a state.
Right, I'm being specific, asshole.
Yeah, I want to play golf. You want to play golf, or you want to go learn a different culture? Culture. So it was all about golf, but I ended up in Pennsylvania. That's where I went to play. I went to high school, then I went to college. And I always say I went to play golf, and then I got an education, because really, I don't think I want to go on to college without golf, right?
Yeah, sure, right.
And what brought me to the United States, and then I moved to Myrtle Beach after for more golf and really.
Where are your parents at?
In Rimouski in Quebec.
Okay, so they're still back.
Yeah,
there.
everybody.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Are you like fully on board American now? You're going to get deported since Trump's here, or are you?
No,
Good? Are you good? Are you solid?
I'm good.
You're good. All right.
Great question. Great question. My gosh. Yeah. What a. Yes. No, I'm good.
You're safe.
So I'm safe, Eric. Thanks for asking.
Okay.
Yes.
All your paperwork's in order.
You won't get in trouble for talking to me today.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not coming after you.
Just making sure.
Yes. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, I've been here. So it's 22 years now. So with Monarch Roofing is almost 18 years now. In March. But we sold last year in June. So, but it was almost 18 years.
You did sell last year?
Yes.
Okay.
June 2024. So,
okay.
Yes.
So what's that look like for you now?
Right now it's very interesting. Definitely different. We sold the company for about 4 or 5 months till November, working on transitioning. Vertex, one of the quality that I like about them is they're able to get high quality people, and it's weird to say that because I feel like we have a high quality people at Monarch Roofing. We did so well, a really good leadership team.
Yeah.
We even had a girl, which I don't know why she applied, worked for us. You probably have some of those in your company. You're doing so well. But I remember 2017 she applied for a job, and we were transitioning the office before a building was built. So I was doing interviews at the Target, but there was a Starbucks there. So like it's the worst place to do an interview. And the girl is from Brazil. She speaks 2-3 language. She went to school in London. She got a doctorate.
The fuck she applying for? Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Yeah. Of course you're hired. Like, why did you choose us? And she's phenomenal. And again, so we hire great people with, for example, Vertex. I'm very biased, so I'm not,
of course,
they're able to attract people because it's a private equity that have military, let's say, background. Like the new president now of Monarch, Lou, he's a Navy SEAL. He's got an MBA graduate, and then he worked for a consulting company for 4 years. So great resume that I never seen that resume come through. It's a lot. Same thing. We have a Ranger that's a GM now in one of the locations. So they're able to infiltrate really capable people. We still got to learn the industry. You still got to connect with people. You still got to learn the ropes from the ground. But that changed everything. So to answer your question, now I'm not in a day-to-day anymore since November. So
was that intentional? Was that like always the plan when you sold?
Yes. Well, the plan was, okay, what's the best next step for Monarch Roofing? That's a great question. Okay. Yeah. So I'm like very intentional with what I do. And about 2017, 18, we start to think about how we can duplicate this company, Monarch Roofing, in franchise or what it would be. So the model. So I'm like, okay, let's really put attention to a process or procedure to perfection so we can duplicate it.
Yeah.
And we did that, and we created the roofing machine, the concept, wrote a book about it, and we implemented it. It worked to 3 locations. But then I'm like, okay, if I go to another location in Charleston, and I'm giving the good stuff, right? 3 locations, we're doing great, but there was problems, right? So when something goes bad into Hilton Head, what happens? I'm going down, and I spend a whole year away from my family. It gets pretty intense. That's the dark side. But we came out of it, and we've been, of course, you don't quit, you'll never lose, right? So we didn't quit, we kept going. And then we didn't want to do that anymore as far as the franchise. So I'm like, okay, how can I really impact people? Because we start saying 50 states. We want to go to 50 states. Like, all right, 50 states. We started Rehab to start coaching companies across the country. So I travel a lot. It was great. It was a great opportunity. But it took a lot of energy to do coaching, travel, 26 locations in 52 weeks, like in a year. It was crazy. Hard on the family. So
doing like business coaching?
Yes.
Okay.
With Rehab. So we help a lot of roofing companies to implement as much as possible the roofing machine, depending where they were. Like, we don't want to change 100% your company, but let's advance it like 30-40%, let's say, towards that. And that was great. Energy was really high. It takes a lot of energy to do that.
Yeah.
Financially, it was good. It's good money to do that kind of work. But the best was the impact. We impact so many people's life, and we still, like, when I meet people here, there's a lot of good energy that came out of it.
Yeah.
So we wanted to keep growing the company, again, 50 states. That's where we start talking to. We heard about private equity, right? It's pretty new, so 3 years ago. But we were too far behind. Like, the company was not set up for that. So before, it took us almost 3 years, 2 years solid to really get it to where I needed to be. But now I can fulfill my passion to like, okay, 50 states. So that's one reason why we sold. So intentionally, I'm not in a day-to-day is because I want to provide the best opportunities for my employees. And I think people that sell their business, it's the number one thing that keep hearing. I thought it was the only one, but people think like that. I want to make sure that my team is taken care of.
Yes.
First priority.
Right.
So I really felt like that company, and there's a lot of great companies, Vertex one of them, but that really will provide opportunities for people to grow. So a lot of our key employees are now in the leadership or the regional for Vertex, which that was one of my biggest draw to that company. So by doing this, my position became really Lou is the new guy in charge of Monarch. And there's not really any role for me, which is a good thing. And they decided to, and they're great to ask you, what do you want to do? They keep asking me like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Whatever you want to do, we'll do that. And then I wanted to help a little bit more on the partner side with, there's a lot of different partners and there's different things, and Vertex is a equity, so they're not a roofing company. So
right.
I get to travel to a lot of roofing companies now and solve or like consult on what they're going through, helping some of the management to understand the pains from the field, right? It's different. Sometimes like, well, he's just been a prick. Well, he's not been a prick. He's dealing with this. It's real. That's a big problem. Like we have to handle that first before we can implement something else. And it's hard to understand that unless it becomes like, are you against me or are you, it's not an emotional thing. Like,
right. Are you enjoying that?
Yeah, it's, I'm enjoying that phase, and I'm enjoying it's crazy, the time with the family.
Okay.
So now I don't have a schedule. So I'll go from, I think we talked about this briefly earlier, 80 to 100 hours, like people say work 100 hours, but like if you work 14 hours a day, 6 days a week, you're about 85 hours. So it's insane, right? So I would see my kids on Sunday. And that was not enough, man. So now I get an opportunity to take my kid to hockey. It's an hour and a half. So I'll drive an hour and a half to Charleston, back on Mondays. My daughter does gymnastic and swimming. So I go to all their events. So it's something I never was able to be exposed to. So it's such a blessing, that,
are you still fired up about the business? Like after you sold and now you're part of this larger, this larger thing, right? And it's not your thing anymore, right? There's got to be a little bit of emotion there when that happens, right? And you kind of had to, right? Like you kind of had to let go a little bit. Was that emotional for you?
Yes, it definitely, there's something there, and it's not, people ask me that. That's a good question. It says, well, how do you feel about you don't have your baby anymore? Like, it was not, I don't know. There's something about this that I don't understand that much. I'm more like Monarch it's not having a name on your business that matters, but it's not Martin Pettigrew Roofing. It's Monarch Roofing. Right. And I said, it's all together. We're here for, first of all, we want to make some money. It's great. Second of all, I want to help people grow. That's one of my passion. Like I want to intentionally help people become better. And that becomes another thing by going at private equity, because I believe like if you don't see people grow, you'll see them go. So I'm like, okay, what's the next step? Monarch Roofing, one location at a time. It's I think too much time, too much energy. Yeah, we start losing great people. So I didn't want to do that. Right. And the last thing is really the community. I'm like, how can we impact the community? So personally now, I feel like that's the best avenue. So it's always a vessel to keep growing. But as far as like being my baby emotionally, it's adapting to something completely different. Like I go from my calendar to be crazy busy, like 6 days. I don't know.
A lot of people lose their identity.
Yeah.
Right. It sounds like you didn't, right? It doesn't sound like that was your identity as owner, founder of Monarch Roofing, right? Like you're pretty fucking chill about, no, I sold it and I'm doing cool shit now and I get to help people. Like, why the fuck wouldn't I do that? Like, that's what I'm hearing from you. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah.
Cool. Like, that's awesome. Like, good for you. Okay. Very good. I got you now. Yeah. It sounds like it's like, switch off, I don't care. Yeah.
No, I'm not that cool. I'm not that great. It definitely is something, but I got to focus on like you're saying, it's no ego, like no egos.
Right.
Okay? No ego. If that comes in the way, oh man, what's the best for everybody? It's not that, So if you focus on that, it makes it easy to. But I understand what you're saying. Like, yeah, definitely. Like, there's no like calls like, hey, Martin, I need your help. Like it's almost like having kids. You feel
so you don't
good.
get those anymore.
Well, with the president a little bit, but they really want to do like they're doing.
Yeah,
they're doing.
right.
And there's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much leadership in the company.
Yeah.
So it was.
Do you miss that
I do and I don't. I'm I'm ready. There's something
for the
there.
next level, for the next stage? Yeah.
I want to, and it's I can tell you this. Like, I want to be part of the leadership at like my next level, right? So I'm looking at who Vertex as in the leadership. I'm like, man, I want to learn from you because I've never been exposed to people. Again, it's not a bad thing in the roofing industry, but it's blue collar, right? So now it's white collar. I'm like, I've never been exposed to that. I want to see what is it?
New
what
crimes taking place.
Yeah.
Now you're going to learn all the white collar crimes.
Yeah, I want to learn, man.
Speaking of that, I don't know you very well. Are you a got in trouble guy? Or are you fucking vanilla and have
pretty much? I mean, like, I think everybody's a little bit has dark side, Eric. I don't
know. I've met a couple people that didn't, and I was like, I don't know what to do with you. Like,
I didn't get caught. Maybe you
didn't get caught.
I think we all do bad things at some point, but nothing like crazy.
Okay, so you've just been a good kid.
I sleep well.
You sleep well.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I sleep well now.
Yeah,
but like, but I didn't for a very long time. I was just curious if you've ever been arrested.
I messed up a lot.
Ever punched a cop or
no.
Ever done cocaine for 4 days in a row?
Yeah,
no. Never fucked a hooker.
Yeah, I know.
None of those things.
Well,
No. We got to pause on that one, folks. Okay.
Oh my God, in trouble now. I'm married.
Lexi, do not fucking edit that. Do not edit that. That's hilarious.
Well, okay. So when I started working, I can tell you, okay, like it's all about you. And I listen to a lot of your podcasts, and it's great what you're doing. Yeah, and you talk about mission, you focus. What you focus. If you're busy on something, like everything else doesn't matter. It's when you're not having so much mission, that's where trouble comes, because we're men, so we want to do things all the time, so we got to be disturbing. Men are more like this, I believe, and you talk about that. So I've been so focused on building this business for so long, and I'll tell you, I was working at when we started Monarch Roofing, so I was working at a golf course and working at night. I work at night parking cars as a valet. And then before that, I was asking everybody, where can I make money quickly working at night? Like, you know anything? So they're like, hey, you can park cars. But parking cars was at a nightclub. There was a strip club.
Right.
So that was the best money I could make. And then you're like, man, you're right into the devil's den right there.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
You could have sold a lot of drugs. That would have been a huge market. Like, that's all I'm thinking. But go on. I sold drugs for like 3 years, and like
I got a few tips that were bags.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, all right, well, thank you. And then
thank you.
Hey, how much you buy this for me? Like, yeah, I'll give you whatever. So,
yeah.
So working there, it was a lot of temptation, even to work inside, like to work like. Even bar backs, they're crushing it, like
sure,
bartending or whatever, So, but I never was like even deflated from that. Like You're
still so focused.
Yeah, because
God damn you, Martin. Fuck.
There was no way around it, because I'm working 2-3 nights a week, whatever they needed. By the way.
Yeah.
Talk about serving and like be the guy that can rely on you. He would call me at 5:30. Like, yeah, I'll be there at 6.
I'll
I'll be there. I'll be on the job site. Yeah, I'll be there at 6. Yep. Man, I'm available for you. Whatever you need. Like, I'm back for this job when it's crazy. Like, why would you beg for a valet? I knew I could work at night and work at day in the business. I'm like, that's a perfect job. I'm outside. I'm not in the smoke and drinking. Like, I'm really like temptation to a certain level. But yeah, like if I'm going from 6 at night to 3 in the morning, like I really cannot mess up after, because like I gotta get up at 6. Like it didn't end for a while. Like it was pretty crazy. But
you were a fucking hustler.
Yeah, for 4 years, beginning solid. Like, I mean, at least, yeah.
Why was it roofing? Why did you decide to get into roofing?
It was not roofing at first. And you're right. So that's where it started. That club, like it's crazy how the dots connect over time.
Yeah.
But I'm parking cars, Eric, and these freaking guys, man, the guys got a Hummer with, like, again, like 2000 7, 8, like they have the screen coming out. Like the screens were not in trucks before. So
that's aftermarket.
You're not even allowed. You have a switch button. Like,
Right.
Like, man, that's so awesome. Like, well, how do you freaking pay for this, man? Hummer, and the others got F-350 diesel jacked up. Like, I'm so jealous. Like, I'm barely can pay my rent. I'm working, like, I was working the golf course too a little bit. Then I work 2 jobs and I can barely pay my rent. You guys are freaking blowing money. Like, I want to know more about you. So we start building relationship. Like, I asked questions and we start going out, hanging out a little bit. In 2007, they were all contractors. I don't know if you remember, I know you remember those days. It was pretty easy to make money in the industry.
I was pretty fucked up in 2007.
You don't remember that year?
I was pretty fucked up. Yeah. That was the height of my drug dealing and alcoholism from about 2000 and end of 2006 till the end of 2009, because 2009 is when I went to rehab. And so like those 3 years are like literally a blur. Like, I mean, I was so fucked out of my mind. I was working, right? And I was working for my grandpa. I was selling roofs. I was still working in like building roofs. Like I did flat roofs as a kid until I was 29. I didn't like get out of the field until I was 30 when I got sober when I was 30. But like that 3 years was an absolute blur. Like I was getting up, I was partying until like 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And then I would jump in my truck, high as giraffe pussy, and go pick up a dump trailer with 5 ton of shingles in it and drive it to the dump. I mean, twacked out of my fucking mind. Right. But I was still showing up.
Yeah.
And working.
You ever thought like how did
I should be dead.
It? Yeah.
I should be
There's
absolutely
no
dead.
In many ways. Heart, your wreck, or
well, I've drove into the back of 2 semis asleep, going 90 miles an hour. Like,
was that your? All right, I got to do something. Not even.
Nope. The first one, I was 20. I was like 21 or 22. I was driving between Lincoln and Omaha because I was going to college in Lincoln, and I was going back. I can't remember which way I was going. I was going back to Lincoln, and I fell asleep. I was going 90, and I woke up because I hit the back of a semi and slammed my mirror, and like that's all that happened. And I pulled over, and then my truck died. Couldn't figure it out. I blew a fuse. It was the weirdest thing. Like I lost steering and everything, and I was able to pull over, and I just started walking, and like I hitchhiked and got back into town to my buddy's house to go to sleep. And then the second one, I was 26, and I was coming, this time I was going the other way from Lincoln to Omaha. And I woke up and I hit a semi, but this time the semi knew that I hit him.
Yeah.
And I went up on 2 wheels and I hit a concrete girder, one of those like Jersey barriers. You know what I'm talking about?
One? Yeah.
Yeah. Like all steel, or, like all concrete. My truck turned into a U because I hit it on the side. I went up on 2 wheels. I slid because it was one of those old trucks, like with a bench seat. I slid all the way into the passenger seat, still hanging onto the steering wheel. I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. I somehow stopped myself by slamming my hand into the windshield, and I broke my wrist right here, snapped my wrist. Somehow didn't go through the windshield, got my truck back down on 4 wheels. The semi felt that one, and cops came on that one. They didn't come on the first one. They came on this one, did a sobriety test on me. And they were like, I'm not going to make you, literally the cop looked at me and he goes, I'm not going to make you blow. And I was like, and I swear, and I was drunk, and I looked at him. I'm like, why not? And he's like, you've had a bad enough night. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? He drove me to a gas station to get picked up. Wow. Right. I should have gotten my last DUI then, but I didn't. And I still had more in me. And so I went for another 3 or 4 years hard. And no, fuck, longer than that. And then I didn't stop. I didn't have a bottom until I got my 4th offense felony DUI and narrowly dodged drug charges because I had a bunch of coke in my truck and I had coke in my shorts. And the cop took me to jail, and I was like, I realized that he patted me down, but he didn't find the drugs in my pocket. And he turned around and let me take a piss before they booked me, and I was able to flush the coke. I'd probably still be in jail, if they would have found all my coke. And I was able to flush it, and I was looking at 1 to 5 years in prison for those charges for just the DUI charges. I was looking at 1 to 5 years in prison.
That was your fourth one?
Fourth. Yeah. Fourth offense felony. And, so I ended up going to, I still didn't stop. So I went home and I still kept drinking and using for another 4 months. And I went and did an evaluation. They make you do an alcohol evaluation. And I went and did the alcohol evaluation, and they're like, yeah, you're fucked up. Like, you got a problem. They're like, you need to go to inpatient. And I'm like, guy, I got a mortgage, and like, I've got all these things, and I've got a job. I'm like, I can't fucking leave for 30 days. And he's like, you're probably going to get 1 to 5 years if like you don't make an effort at least. And I was like, all right, I can do math. Like, I'll go 30 days and see if I can get less time. Right. The only reason I went to rehab was to try and get less time. Like, that was it. And so I went out and I did my 30 days. And I literally, even for the first 2 weeks, I had no intention of quitting. All I wanted to do was do the time so that when I went back in front of the judge, I could be like, look what I did. And I could hopefully get a break. I was still selling coke remotely from rehab because I still had stuff left at my house. And I called up a buddy and I'm like, here's where my safe is. Here's where my key is. Here's where my scale is. Can you sell the rest of my shit for me? And like, people will call me, I'll be like, go meet so-and-so and he'll fucking hook you up while I'm in rehab. I'm still doing that. And then I was there for like a week and a half, and I was sitting in a room and there was a lecture going on, right? There was a counselor up there lecturing. And I remember looking, and I've told this story a million times, so sorry people. But like, I remember looking out the window and looking up at the walls. There's all these cups and plates and stuff that you get like when you graduate and whatever. And I had this weird moment, and out loud, I just went, holy fuck, I'm in rehab. And everybody stopped and looked at me. They're like, what's fucking wrong with this guy? Like, we need to commit him? And like, I had this epiphany that like, I'm in rehab. Normal people don't go to rehab. I wouldn't be here if there wasn't some kind of a problem. So maybe I need to like listen. And it's why I titled my book that's coming out next month, Shut the Fuck Up and Listen More. Because I was like, maybe I need to shut the fuck up and listen a little bit and just a little bit, right? They kept asking you to just open the door a little bit, right? Just have a little bit of willingness to listen and see if anything resonates. And by the end of it, I was like, absolutely. I'm like, I am a fucking alcoholic. And like, if I don't make some changes in my life, I'm going to die or end up in jail. Like, those are the two options for a guy like me. If I drink or use, I'm going to end up in jail or die. And I was like, and I didn't really want to do either of those things. Yeah. Like, I kind of wanted to live, kind of. Like,
even like you're frustrated,
kind of,
like, right? You didn't really see the thing or see clearly.
Yeah, and you couldn't see. Yeah, you couldn't see clear at all until that fog, gets out. And so that was when I made a decision, and I was just like, okay, I'm like, this is what I'm going to do, and which has led me to where I am now, in the fact that I get to, my sobriety gets me to be able to have the opportunity to sit in a room here with you, right? Like, you're not sitting with 15 years ago, Eric, right? Like, you're going to have absolutely no desire, right? You might have fun one night going out with me. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. We're not stopping.
But we're not going to be buddies, right? Like, I didn't have any, I had drive in the fact that like I worked a lot, right? And like, but I wasn't willing to learn, right? And so to kind of circle everything back, man, I wasn't willing to listen.
What a lesson! What a lesson! Right? That's deep, man. Because you changed like your identity at one time. Mm-hmm. You learn probably one of the most valuable lessons. Like, you wrote a book about this, to listen, right? Mm-hmm. Like, how crazy is that? Mm-hmm. Man, that's powerful, and kind of relates to what you're saying. Like, with private equity, when we 3 years ago we started hearing about it, what do most people do when you hear about private equity? Like, we don't listen, right?
No.
Fuck emails, calls, text message,
delete,
email, like beautiful letter. You know what? It reminded me. You were just saying this now. I just thought about something. When I came to America to the as an exchange student, I was in high school, and they had. It was so weird, man, because they would have military guys, recruiters come in. Yeah. And it would sit in cafeteria. Yeah. And nobody would sit with them. It was kind of like the plague, you know, kind of the plague. Like, oh no, like I was like, and I didn't know. Like I'm not like right now. I'm really big on like Monarch. We're really big on to giving back to veterans. Like, man, what a gift I have to be here in this greatest country in the world, and people 247, 348 years of sacrifice and insane, right? Like we're so privileged. Like, well, the least I can do is give back to some veterans. But back then, I'm like, man, why nobody's talking to this guy? Like, he might have something. Now, you don't. It doesn't mean you're gonna go join or whatever, you know.
Right.
But I'm like this with. It reminded me of that with private equity. Like, oh, no, I don't want to hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of, like, on Facebook, you hear, like, some negativity.
A lot of horror stories.
Yeah, and there's, and across, like, if you take all the private equity, not just, like, of course, in roofing, like, my gosh, there's a lot of disaster. But there's a lot of positive, too. But you don't need much negative to tarnish everything, too, right? So
Correct.
But that's interesting. I think that's, listen more.
Because what plays is negativity in social media. Especially, right? And anything, everybody wants to see the car crash, right? Everybody watches NASCAR to see the crash.
Rodeo.
Right? Yeah. Like, yeah, they want to see the guy get hurt. Yeah. They want to see all the bad stuff. Which is, I'll be honest, like, which is why I think like the people that listen to this and follow this, like it's a I don't want to say it's a niche, but it's a more laser focused kind of group of people. Because the people that they realize like I'm not here to like stir up controversy, right? Like I'm not here to start fucking wars and expose people and like do all these other things that some other people are doing just to get views or just to get likes or just to get whatever it is, attention, right? At the end of the day, it's noise and attention. And I've really tried to surround myself with people that get that, right? And want to be surrounded by empathy and positivity, right? And what are we doing to get better? Not what are we like, I don't give a fuck if that guy's doing things the wrong way. That's not a me problem. That's a him problem, right? Like, I don't care. It's not my job to fix him. And it's not my job to make sure that everybody knows how fucking terrible he is either. My job is to figure out how to be better.
How do we change that? Because I see a lot lot unfortunately, in the industry right now.
We don't.
it's crazy. Like you're doing things just to get attention to, like, for what, man? For what purpose, man? Let's get real. Like, we're all about, like, don't compete, dominate. You're here want to grow, get better, and you know, go home to your family and be happy and then give back to the community.
Don't think we can change it. I think all we can do is keep doing what we're doing so that people see that and eventually they tire of it. The best compliment that I've ever got was, I was having dinner with Daniel Rabowski. I don't know if you know Daniel or not. Great guy. I was having dinner with Daniel and he was like, you know, he goes, I want to tell you something. He was in kind of doing an overview of my company. He's an operations guy. And he was like doing a deep dive into my organization to tell me like where the holes in my boat are and like what I can fix and what I can clean up and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, we were talking about the show and just everything, you know, that I do and whatever. And the best compliment that I've ever been given was, he was like, you watch in social media and you watch these guys that try to come on and have people pay attention to them. And if you notice, if you watch, they usually stick around for about 18 to 24 months. Right. And I can start naming names. I don't need to, you know who I'm talking about. Right. But if you start watching them, they get a ton of attention and people are watching them and maybe they go do roadshow tours or they do this or they do that. And they're really cool for about 18 to 24 months. And then they because people get tired of it. Right. They're like, that was fun to watch for a year or two, but like, I don't really care anymore. Right. And he was like, you've been fucking around. He's like, you've been fucking around with this for like 4.5 years or whatever. He's like, and I feel like you're getting stronger. And I was like, thank you. Right. Like that's a huge compliment. Because I never did this or started this, like quote unquote, to get attention. Right. It was always about how can we impact other people. Right. And selfishly, it's because I get to hang out with cool people. Right. And be able to do that. But it's like, how do we stay positive and how do we have empathy and listen to other people's point of view, right? That maybe I don't agree with, but I'd like to understand a little bit better instead of just man, you're a piece of shit. And I'm going to make sure that I tell everybody that you're a piece of shit because everybody needs to fucking know. Again, it's not a me problem.
Yeah, it's
does that make sense?
Yeah, you have a great business as well. Like, congratulations on all this, but that goes in business too. Like, think about how you see roofing contractors open up business and then a couple years later they're gone because they just built on paper fire. Like, if you don't have a culture, and everybody throws this word around, but culture equals profit. How do you build this? It's to invest in people.
Yes.
And really selfishly, like same thing as you are doing. Like when I'm influencing people to become better, well, I got to speak that language. So I'm getting better because I'm practicing. They're getting better. So they raise the standard. Like now I'm challenged. I got to get better too.
Right.
So it never ends. Right.
No.
So it's about it's selfish at first, but it's giving back to others. Like, so like,
but it's all selfish, which is fine. Like like it's okay.
End.
I learn more when I'm coaching somebody, right? Because like, and I don't have like a coaching business, right? But like I've got culture movement, you know, where we have group calls and stuff, and I have a few one-on-one guys that I help coach and whatever. But like, I end up learning as much in those calls sometimes when I'm helping somebody else, because they'll come to me with some problem and I'm like, let's solve this together, right? Like, you don't have anybody as a sounding board to solve this problem. Let me help you solve this problem. And all of a sudden I'm like, I think I just solved one of my problems too. Like, have you ever had that happen?
Yeah, 100%.
All the time.
You start talking like, we just figure it out.
Right. And I can do this over here. I'm like, I ain't going to fucking tell you that, but like, cause you're paying me for this, but now I can go do that. And I think that's fun. I think, and I hope that to circle everything back to what you're saying, when you're like, how do we change that? Again, I don't think that we do, but if we continue the conversation the way that we think the conversation needs to be had, in that positive light, in that, how are we helping other people do the right thing? I think it's just going to organically happen, but then the noise starts to go away because we're not focusing on it anymore, right? If we stop focusing on the noise, then the people around us will stop focusing on the noise.
How many times in your business where you're like, crap, these guys are doing this? Like, it happens, like, oh my gosh, new player in town, damn it. What do you do then? Same thing. Like, if you start focusing on that or negative or the threat, no, let's focus on opportunities and let's study them. Like, we're not stupid. Let's understand what they're doing so we can fight against it.
Yeah.
We're not going to be victims. We're like, all right, how can we do better?
Right.
And I think it starts with the people first, you know, like so many times we're trying to do branding first, or we're trying to flash first and truck wrap first. And like, man, go people first, identify what you need to really to save yourself time. Like, I'm trying to go back to when we started. It was like, every time it was like, okay, what can I do? What am I doing today that can give somebody else to free my time so I can focus more on opportunities? So when I'm looking at that company, I'm like, I'm terrified. I'm coming. All right, let's do this again. Let's do this again to build a business. I've never thought about, all right, how much money are we making now? Like, we're making money. We have money in the bank. Okay, we're good. All right, let's hire somebody else.
Right.
Let's hire somebody else.
Right.
Probably not the best like financial business, but I was like a model, but I'm like, I just me. I don't really care. Like, I'm just going to work the hell out of it. If I got to work Sundays, and I can tell you, one of the first job we ever sold a metal roof, you know, to give you an idea. My brother's a pharmaceutical rep in Canada. So he was always like, hey man, when are you coming back? You know, that's crazy. You work way too much. You don't make any money. Like, it's you two jobs. This is stupid. Like, come back. Like, yeah, I love your business dream, but it's not going to work. And then one day I called him, Eric, I'm like, brother, I made it. He's like, what are you talking about? I just sold a $33,000 roof, brother. A metal roof on a commercial job. Like, that's it. $33,000.
I did
Insane. Then we did a job. Call him back 2 weeks later. Yeah, Yannick, you remember that $33,000 job? It cost us $38,000 to do it. He's like, you're an idiot. Like, I said, well, he's like, all right, you coming back now? I'm like, no. That's what I want to tell you. I learned something. It's like, now I know how to, when we buy the material from the supplier, I understand that we have to include Z with reg.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Right.
There's cleats in the valleys. What the hell is a cleat?
Yeah.
All right, we need 2 of those, so each valley. So I went through, and now I knew how to estimate metal roofs. I'm like, all right, lesson learned. It cost me $5,000.
Yeah.
And again,
and that's a cheap lesson in this industry.
Gosh, yes.
Right?
Yeah. It's not oh my God. You're right. We had a lot worse.
Sure.
So it was just at that point,
right?
It was hell. Like,
of course. Yeah.
The supplier, I remember that. Like, I knew him. So every Monday, I went to see him that Monday. I'm like, hey, buddy, I messed up. I don't have any money to pay my bill. So I got $50 here. I work this weekend. I got a little bit of money. I'll come every Monday. Like, I'll give you some money. What do you think of that? You know, like, I have no other option. You can be like, no, like, what is he going to do? Like, you cannot sue me. I got no money anyways, you know?
Right.
It's like, all right, just come back every Monday. I need to see you. So for 8 weeks, I come back, $400 or $500, whatever I was making on the weekend at parking cars. I would bring it back to him. And he started selling me materials again. Like, all right, before my bill was paid in full, but he was like, all right, I can trust you. You know, I was driving my Cadillac car. Like, people make fun of Chuck in the truck. I know you heard this, right? I heard in California, Dan in the van. I hear it.
I haven't heard Dan in a van.
Hold on, it's another one. Cooper in a scooter. Yeah, in Texas here. Like, what the hell? So I was Marty in a caddy, and it's not a nice caddy. It was an old caddy I was driving around. So I didn't even have a truck, right? So that's how far back. And that's what I was driving then. He's like, I saw him earlier today. He's like, I don't know how I trusted you that you were actually going to do something with business. You're driving a car. He's like, one day you came in, we had to open up your trunk, put drippage in it. You didn't realize it was 10 foot. So you wrapped the front of the towel.
You didn't realize it was 10 foot.
Yeah, like, your car is big, but it doesn't fit. Like, it was. It's
out through the windows, hanging out both sides. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you kept selling me. He's like, yeah. He's like, you owed me money, and I kept giving you products. I don't know why, but so there's a lot of people like self-made and stuff like this, like totally BS. Right? Like so many lucks here and there, and you as well. Like, you could have gone. I mean, you could have died, right? So that's probably the ultimate. I'm not that far, but you know, there's so many people that help through a journey to be there. 100%. So being grateful, like, I think what you're talking resonate with everybody. That is doing, I think, the right thing to do well.
Dan in a van. I fucking love that. I'm using that. Dan in a van. That makes me so happy. That's the one I have not ever heard that one before. Okay, cool. So when we start kind of wrapping these up, I know that we always start on a topic that I go down a rabbit hole and we don't finish it, or a guest came in with something that they knew they wanted to bring up and talk about, and I forgot to bring it up because, you know, I'm half-assed at this, right? But I always want to give the opportunity to the guest at the end to have the floor for a few minutes to make sure that we are leaving the audience with the thing that they wanted to make sure that they brought to the table, or that we quit on a little too early to make sure that we expand on it if we need to. So I always want to give you an opportunity to land the plane.
Yeah, I mean, great. There's a few things in my mind for sure. This is awesome, Eric. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. By the way, this is great, and what you've accomplished and putting yourself out there to do this, it takes a lot. I know, because we've done a lot of coaching in events, and then one thing is you know, with private equity, let's say, you know, like we hear a lot, like people, contractors, like if I'm in the industry right now, go back 3 years. Except to be on a couple calls to listen to what they have. There's a great book. Actually, there's 3 books from Adam Coffey that I recommend that helped me tremendously 3 years ago to start to be like, all right, don't be such a little, like, don't be a little bitch. Yeah. Start opening your mind a little bit. But it was the 2 that I would recommend is the Private Equity Playbook and the Exit Strategy. There's 3. Exit Strategy and The Empire by Adam Coffey. Okay. Probably the exit strategy, number 1, to start to understand what private equity wants, but also how you should build your business to be ready for this. But the key here, it's not so much to think private equity. It's really when you read through, it's like, that's how my business should be built. Anyway. Right. So brand critical. How's your Google review? Yeah, people look at Google reviews all the time. Well, what can you do to increase it? Easy stuff. Start putting a spotlight on it. It's going to get better. What kind of leads are you getting? Are you getting leads you pay for, or your referral? Well, referrals are cheaper, and you probably, because people talk about you, it's probably a good thing. Great. What kind of income are you getting? Is it from storms driven, or is it I'm able to get some referrals, repeat business, and your profit margin? You know, you got to be profitable too. So it sounds, and the most important, probably the culture. Culture equals profit. We say that. But who's your team? Are you able to, as a leader, owner, like we say, we're business owners, but sometimes it's like a slave, right? Like you're working so much in a day-to-day, like, do you really own the business, right? So what can you do today to start to remove yourself from the day-to-day so the business can run without you eventually? Right. It doesn't matter. Take the step today. You can start with admin, right? Office. You can have superintendent on the job site. Okay, I'm removing from the job site. Then you can go salesman, inside sales. There's pretty simple, but you know what you're good at and what will be good
Right.
for you.
Yeah.
It's just about building your business right.
Yeah.
So
What I heard is don't be afraid.
yeah.
Right. Don't be afraid to learn a little bit more about something that you might not know about, because there might be an opportunity there that you're not even aware of.
100%.
Agreed.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. Martin, thank you so much for being here. I really hope that this, spurs us into a longer, conversation and a longer relationship, and we get to hang out more and see each other. And obviously I love the fact we're both in ECA, and, we'll get to see each other at those events and everything else. And so I know that everybody here watching and listening, if you didn't learn anything here, then there's something wrong with you, and I'd probably go to the doctor and get checked out. But this was an amazing episode. I thank you for all your insights, Martin. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to SMA Support Services. You guys are the best. If you guys need back end or front end support inside of your business, reach out to SMA Support Services. We use them exclusively for everything that we do. Cult Culture Movement. You're looking for a group of like-minded men to hold you accountable to not be a piece of shit and do amazing things in this world. And you just need to be surrounded by high-level people. Reach out and apply to be part of Cult Culture Movement. That's cultcultureprogram.com. And lastly, Exhale Underwater Unmastermind. We do a scuba trip every year with really cool people. Small group, high level. A lot of fun, really cool experience, face some fears, go dive with some sharks, do some cool shit. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me and apply to that, and we'll see if we can make you a part of that. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Can't wait to see you next time. And remember, everybody, to be authentic or get the fuck out.
Authentic. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Yeah.